Hello, welcome to Black Road Gaming. I am Aaron and I'm back for another Space Wolves video. And as you've just seen, we've got a fancy new intro. Very nice, very sexy. You know, I like it. I like it. And I can only just thank our humble social media manager and Toby for coming up with that concept and idea. So, Space Wolves. I'm without Simon. Simon's he's not with us. He's had some sad news. One of his poor pets has unfortunately not been overly very well, and it's been a sad time for the family. So he's taking some time, and I said, "Don't worry, Simon. Don't worry. I've got this. I've got this." So we're going to talk about Space Wolves. We're going to talk about how Beast Slayer detachment wins a GT. There was a lot of naysayers on the old interwebs out there. A lot of people saying Beast Slayer wasn't that great, and I've been saying for a while I think Beast Slayer is pretty good. I thought, no, I like it. Turns out it's GT winnable good. Yes, that person, Mr. Zed Martin, went 5-0 with a pretty unusual list, and we're going to discuss it. We've got it here, and I'm going to show what, how, why, as an example of what the choices were and the rationale behind them that I believe. I've spoken to this player, so I might be off the mark, but I could be completely right. Think about that. So Space Wolves, Beast Slayer wins a GT. We also had a Gladius Space Wolves and go 5-1 at a tournament, which is extremely good. So you can expect the win rate for us to be quite high. And what is the win rate? So currently the win rate's sitting at 53% for Space Wolves. Like some of the other detachments like vary that have been played. Like some people are playing the other Space Wolf detachments, which is great. Saga of the Beast Slayer is at a 57%. So guys, look, I'm gonna be real with you. Excuse me. Data slates in a couple of weeks. I would be shocked if we didn't have some form of points change. What is going to get touched? I don't know. It could be Wolf and go up points. It could be Wolf head takers go up points, because head takers are really cheap. Head takers and a Wolf pack, dirt cheap. 3 Wolves for 25 points for massive screening action tool. Too cheap. Too cheap. If they'll probably go up 10 points. I'm expecting some puppy nerfs. May even come in the form of our Thunderwolf Cavalry as well, which are also 100 points for those. Really cheap. They could probably go up 10 points and still be a reasonable list in there. I don't think it kills us. Tones us down? Yes. Kills us? No. So 57% is pretty high. 57% Space Wolves is pretty high. And a GT winning list by Zed Martin in the States. So Beast Slayer, who went Arjak Rockfist, Lieutenant with Combi Weapon, Logan Grimnar, Ragnar Blackmane, Wolfguard Battle Leader with the Wolf Touch Enhancement, an Intercessor Squad for that stickiness, some Fenrisian Wolves just to help screening, a Gladiator Reaper I thought was a good choice, because actually with the lethals you can negate the dev side of it, so I was a little bit unsure about that choice personally, but it's in the list. 2 Land Raiders with the Godhammer Las cannons and heavy bolters. That's pretty interesting. Big models, big resilient tanks. A scout squad for the scouting, screening, scoring, being there, being a nuisance. Thunder Cavalry. Gotta have some Thunder Wolves. 6 head takers, 3 head takers with 3 hunting wolves, 2x5 Wolfguard Terminators. Pretty cool list. I like the Terminators. I like Terminators personally. Obviously, Logan and Arjak have got some friends. The head takers are going to be in that Land Raider. And I imagine some of the Wolfguard Terminators might be in a Land Raider as well. Now, what you're using those for is you're using them to extend threat ranges. And I thought I'd show you this with an image from TTS. So this is from what I use. I like to use a Repulsor and a Repulsor Executioner. Now, the Repulsor here has got, I've shown you here, it's got 10 dudes have come out. So that is a 3-inch out of the vehicle. So you've essentially, they get out 3 inches, they move 7, and I've just highlighted there that arrow is 15 inches pointing into that deployment line of your opponent. Most stuff is staged behind here. So if these guys have got advanced charge. So if you've got your 7, so it cuts it down to an 8-inch. On average, say you roll a 3, cuts it down to a 4-inch charge. You're basically increasing the advanced section for 3 points. Or 3 inches. And that's quite big. It gives you a lot of extra threat range. It turns the threat range of this unit, which is already at maximum 24 inches, well, more than that, 25 inches, and to a maximum of 28 inches, which is huge increase. Makes that quite scary. And this vehicle in here is pretty safe. It's pretty safe. You can screen it out. You've got your blood claws there. It's very unlikely you're going to mess up that charge. And the next thing you know, you're in your opponent's deployment zone. So you can really stage. Like I would say, before doing anything, you'd have some hunting wolves in front of that tank to stop the tank getting tagged. And then you push through. Personally. You can have head takers in there. You got your whatever you want. And that is exactly what I imagine was happening with those land raiders. They were being used to extend the threat range of units inside the vehicles. Because in this detachment beast layer, we have very little access to advance and charge outside of taking certain units and characters. So I imagine Ragnar would have been with the head takers in a land raider, pushed up, and then doing exactly what these head takers are doing. The thing is, they're pretty nasty head takers when they get into old combat. And then you've got the Wolfguard Battle Leader as well, who can do something very similar. The Wolfguard Battle Leader giving sustained to a unit and lethals and reroll ones. You don't need the Oath of Moment really to know that the unit is going to touch is probably going to die. So these little plays and techniques are what really pushing the boundary. We're in Hero Hammer at the minute. People have got a lot of characters. People have got a lot of vehicles. Knights being top of the meta means that all of a sudden our Beast Slayer is really efficient because we wound everything on lethal and 6s. So lethals, 6s, here's a wound, make a save, chip damage. Just chip and damage, just constantly. Pistols, anything. Anything that forces your opponent to roll dice, there is a chance you take another wound. And that stacks over time. And it's like death by 1,000 cuts. So I imagine what Mr. Martin did. He used this to push his threat ranges. He efficiently screened. He used his tech pieces to score. And when he needed to, he then activated the big push, the big charge, the big go turn, which would then cripple the opponent. I don't know what their tournament run was. And tournament run is always going to matter when you're trying to win an event. And you know what? He did very well. Fair play to this player. He smashed it. Fair play to the player that also went 5-1. You also smashed it. And I think it just shows that actually the Wolf Codex has got some play. But I'm expecting there to be some big data slate changes. And there has been rumours. And you're probably sitting there being like, Arron, what rumours? And I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you the rumours. I don't know if these are reliable. But from the grapevine of people, there has been some suggestions that detachments being locked. Codex Space Marine detachments locked to the Codex, meaning Dark Angels, Space Wolf, Blood Angels, etc., will only be able to use their own detachments, meaning we will not have access to Stormlance and Gladius and all of those other lovely detachments. If this is true, it's big. Because all of a sudden we're locked out of an awful lot of versatility. And that is possibly an easy fix because Blood Angels, Space Wolf, Dark Angels benefit widely from those detachments. Do I think it tones down the meta Space Marine list? No, it doesn't. Having double Oath of Moment, having that access to those units that just make it really oppressive and easy, +1 to wound as well. I think that's a problem. I don't think there should have ever been a +1 to wound from Oath of Moments. There shouldn't be double Oath, and it has been left untouched for too long. And I do wonder why, how it survived for so long. Space Marines is the intro army into competitive 40k. Most people have had a Space Marine army at some point, so that dilutes the win rate. But if you're seeing top players winning super majors consistently with Space Marines and pivoting, does that not tell you that maybe there's something wrong? Or is it just literally based on that one guy happened to do really well? I'm skeptical. I don't think they should be locking out detachments at all. I think they need to fix the internal balance of Space Marines. There's units that just flat don't get used because they are either too costed or they're not usable. There are units that are so cheap that they're just used all the time. And it ends up making this look less thematic and more stat check. Does this, and I wonder where the balance is going to come from. Do I think the problem is double O's? Maybe. Do I think this next data slate is going to be a big data slate? I do. I think we're in for some big changes to the game and how it's played, and I think we're going to see some core army changes. Where that's going to come from and how, what, where, why, I don't know, but this is just one of the rumours that I've heard. Obviously, stuff has been circulating throughout the internet. We've already had an emergency patch on Death Guard and on Knights, and I think they've just pivoted. I don't think it's still a massive problem. If you have a look at the Art of War faction ranking, they still have those factions right near the tippy top of the leaderboards. So it's going to be an interesting few weeks, interesting few months. Let's see where it goes. Next, we've got Nova coming up, and we've got the London Grand Tournament, the two big tournaments for September. We're going to get a buttload of data, and it will be interesting to see what that data tells us. Obviously, it's a short video this week, and I hope you've enjoyed a little bit of an insight into maybe how that player 5-0'd. Maybe you can go and try it out yourself, or you might be thinking, oh, that's why we're using those units. Let me know what you think in the comments. Tell me if you agree with me. It's been a pleasure. Take care.